everybody. I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to an awesome new episode of VO Buzz Weekly.
That's right. And you Robotech fans and Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fans, we have Tony Oliver on the show today. You're going to love it.
AKA Rick Hunter. Let's talk to him right now. Our guest's impressive career has spanned more than 25 years. He is a director, writer, producer, teacher, and just an all-around amazing guy. He's known for his work in Robotech, Naruto, Bleach, and he helped create, produce, and write the iconic show Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I want to do the stance.
Holy Toledo.
We are so excited to get buzzed with the super talented and awesome Tony Oliver.
I think that deserves a
need
round of applause.
I think I need to raise my prices.
I think you should. You know, I can't believe you're still working for $50, man. This is ridiculous. Dude, I got to tell you something. In fact, we were just talking about this a little while ago, but I want you all to hear this. So a little while back, we put a post on Facebook saying, okay, who would you like to see on VO Buzz Weekly in the coming few months here? And we got like 30 comments on that that all said, in a row, not sporadic, but in a row, Tony Oliver, Tony Oliver, Tony Oliver. And I'm like, I think Tony Oliver reached out to all his friends and said, hey, can you go post on this, my name?
But it works.
No,
I didn't.
It worked. That's basically why you're here. But no, you have a lot of people out there that really, really just love you because, A, you're a great guy, you're super talented, and you really, really give back to the community, which is why you're here, really.
Yes.
We love
You're our kind of people.
Absolutely, man. So, we're going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
You're going to give us some answers. And, are you ready? Are you ready?
I am ready.
He is ready.
Here we go.
Your background, because you're all over the map.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody that does as much as you do.
Jack of all trades,
Right?
master of none.
Well, you're all over the map. But you originally started in stage acting, right? So give us a little back story of how that came about and then how you transitioned everything into where you are today, which with voiceover.
Well, I mean, I discovered performing when I was really young in elementary school. I got to sing, it's an old story, but I got to sing the solo in the Christmas for choir, and it was Silver Bells, and I sang it. I've always had a reasonably decent singing voice, and I got a standing O. Wow! And I went, I like this.
So wait, I've got another one.
Yeah. So later on, I got involved in drama in school, and went to Cal State Northridge Teenage Drama Workshop, which is where I met my wife, and
that worked out.
Yeah, it did work
out.
I just embarked on. I just decided a professional acting career is what I wanted, and the where you start, especially if you're in Los Angeles, is on the stage. Yeah. So I started doing theater all over town.
Beautiful.
And did a bunch of musicals and a few plays, and it's still my first love. I'm still doing that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And is there a particular play or musical that you did that kind of really stands out as maybe a favorite?
Wow.
Wow,
I've done a bunch. No, there was a musical that I was involved in early on. It was an original musical called Poof. It was a children's musical, and I got to play the lead. I was actually musical director for the first run, and then when it ran again, I played the lead, and that really was my favorite. Because it was original, I got to create the character.
That's cool.
The music was great. The kids really liked it. It had an adult bent to it, so even the adults liked it. So between that and I just last year did Cabaret, which I had never done. Yeah, I got to play
What an amazing show.
And it was the best reviewed show I've ever been in, and I got to play Herr Schultz, and it was just a wonderful production of a show that is really hard to do. So it's something that I've always kind of stayed away from.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful. We did it in San Francisco, and then we ran down here for a few weeks.
That's fantastic, man. Really, really cool.
Well, I love that you are still working your chops, and you're and obviously with theater there's no take two.
No.
You are in it, you have to make it work. What do you think, as far as your theater background, how that's helped you in the voiceover side?
Well, the basis of all voiceover is acting. I mean, people think that voice acting is funny voices, but it's not. It's acting while you're doing funny voices.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and the basis of all of that is theater. So first and foremost, it gets me back to fundamentals. I have to create a character. It has to live in the real world. I can't phone it in. There's an audience that paid to see it.
Right.
There's, and that has a direct relationship with how well I do in the booth, how well I direct now. And every time I do a show, I get better at the other stuff. So I'm not sure exactly how that connection works, except that it really forces me to focus back on the craft itself.
Right,
and I think that's why.
Right.
That's good.
So I took you on a tangent, and we're coming back. Waze brought us back. So how did you get your first break in voiceover?
I lied.
No,
really.
Okay,
which
this
is
is
not
the time,
what we should do.
No, this is the time where you take out the pens because there's some good
I'd really
story
like
here.
to not edit you, Tony, but if you're
Technically-
going to tell people lie, no.
No, technically I didn't lie. Technically, I didn't lie. I had been searching for work. I had done a few movies, bit parts in movies. I was terrible on camera. Terrible. I won't even tell you what I was in. But I was doing well on stage, and I just did a little touring children's theater show, which made me no money. I was going broke, and I was desperate for work, so I answered an ad in what then was called Dramalog. It's now called Backstage.
Dramalog, yeah.
Now Backstage
Yeah.
West, and they were looking for people who could do voices that were under 18 but were over 18 because of the labor laws.
Right.
Sure.
And they had to have ADR experience. I had done a student film a year before that I was in, and I had to.
You thought they meant ADD.
No.
Right?
That would have been better.
Okay.
No, I had actually looped one line to a tape recorder while it was rolling on the Moviola, so it really wasn't technically ADR.
Yeah.
But I felt that was enough to
You're
say
like, I've
yes,
got
I
it.
did
Yes,
it.
I've done that.
And it was a little. They were looking for a group to do background bits and walla on a Louis Malle film. Bits and walla is the little background conversations that
Yes.
like in the restaurant when the foreground scene's happening.
Yeah.
And they liked me. So they took me into another room and auditioned me for this animated thing. And the silly people gave me the lead. Because I'd never done any of this before. It was called The Sea Prince and the Fire Child. It was actually just re-released about 2 years ago.
Wow.
And it was my first and it was a beautiful, beautiful Sanrio film. And that ended up on television. And so about a year and a half later, I got a phone call. Are you the guy that did this? Yeah, well, come in. And I had a paid audition, which was really weird, where I
Wow.
actually did a job. It was a small one. And they called me up a few days later, said, we loved you. We're going to do this little thing. It's this 3-episode thing for VHS. It's called Macross. It's not going anywhere. And so we did it. And a few weeks later, said, hi, we sold the series. And it's now called Robotech. And you need to be at work next Friday. I mean, it was like that.
Wow.
And that's pretty much where the career started.
And Rick Hunter was born.
Rick Hunter was born.
And Rick
Wow.
Wow, that is so cool, man.
So have you stopped lying since then?
Yes,
Tony?
I don't have to anymore.
Okay, see,
Which is why
I technically
he does
did
you know what?
lie.
I always kind of end up on the upside. So the good news is,
Yeah, that's what he did. He learned how to do everything,
So
producing,
he didn't
direct,
have to
writing, all
lie
that stuff,
anymore.
so that he wouldn't have to lie.
Well, that's called fear of eviction.
Yeah, can you
by
do
the
this?
way.
Of course I can. Fear of eviction.
yeah,
I
you
love
want
it.
your key to still work when you
Yeah,
put
I
it in
really
the
like
lock.
having a place to live.
Yeah,
That's
these are when the stakes are high, you do what you got to do.
Absolutely,
I
man.
love it. So Tony, anime. It is a huge genre that you work in, you act in, direct in, write in. For people that don't know, what are the skill sets that you need to have to be really competitive? Because it is a very
Fortunately, it
not
wasn't when
easy.
I first got into it. Nobody
Yeah.
knew what it was.
Right.
There was maybe 12 of us doing it in town. No, the skill set, it's the same as anything. And you know, if you're going on camera on stage, the basic skill set is the ability to act, to create a character realistically and convey emotion and tie the audience into the whole thing.
Right.
So that's first and foremost. That's why I tell people you got to be an actor first. The ability to use your voice. Again, that's why the stage work is so important. The ability, because the microphone, everybody thinks the microphone is going to make me sound louder, but it really doesn't. You know, if it just picks up what you give it, and if you sound too loud or too close, it doesn't sound right. So you have to be able to project even though you're in a little room. So an imagination's helpful to be able to kind of create a scenario around you that makes it real. And a lot of tenacity, because it takes a long time. It's unlike the film business, which is kind of open to auditions. I mean, I did the cattle calls for years. It's not a great way to live, but at least there's a way in.
Right.
Voiceovers tends to be kind of a cliquish thing, so so you have to kind of really work it and keep practicing and doing what you can to get in the door. So skill set of networking is really good. It didn't used to be that way, but now it's essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's essential.
Yeah.
So meeting the right people and clicking with the groups that are doing certain
Yeah, that are
things
moving up on their own. I have a
right.
lot of. That's one of the things I teach in my classes is that you guys need to network. In fact, I make everybody trade information who wants to. I mean, I don't make them.
Yeah.
Because, and I've watched these groups of people, actors. The earliest group I taught have all kind of moved up together, helping each other out along the way.
That's cool.
When my son got out of film school, my son's a filmmaker. When he got out of film school, same thing. He networked and he's maybe 7 years out of film school now. He's working on a Coen Brothers movie. So and he did that with good work and networking.
Right,
So
right.
that's really an important thing.
Right.
Very cool. What are the differences though for some people that may not know? What are the essential differences between anime and say animation?
Well, technique and how you approach the characters is a little different. Anime, first of all, the storytelling is different. The storytelling in Japan tends to be a little more what you don't say is as important as what you do.
Right.
So you're constantly playing subtext. And when you're on stage, that's great, you got your face. When you're on camera, it's great, you got your eyes. But when you're on the microphone, you have to do it subtly with your voice. So understanding that. So that's the big deal. Also, the way we record is different. In original American animation, the characters are a little bit more superficial. Not so much as buried. There's subtext, but it's not as important. And also, everybody generally works in the room together. So when we're, I did a cartoon about 2 years ago called Graffiti. There was 8 or 10 of us in the room every day, and we did it was like a play reading. So it's great. You get to work off of other people, but you're also creating out out of nothing. Because you really have to invent the whole scenario.
And then the animation gets created
after. In anime, the animation exists already in Japanese.
Right.
Somebody has to adapt it and make it all fit the mouth. And then one person at a time, we go in the booth one at a time. And you have to interpret what you see.
So you're watching it.
You're watching
as you're
it,
acting
and so we review it in Japanese, and then you interpret and adapt it as an actor. So some of your choices are already made as an actor.
Yeah.
You don't have to make those choices, but you have to figure out how to make that actor's choices real for you. So it's a lot of this.
It's a lot of that. So it's different. I would say that
it's more difficult. Actually,
it's more difficult.
You have to really be able to
really
multitask.
have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you have
Otherwise,
to
it's not gonna
totally
work
get
out.
out of your head to do it. Because the minute you're hearing beeps and there's pictures and there's a lot going on. You have to be able to really focus.
Really focus. That's cool, man. And do you still have the freedom to create your own characters, like in anime, like voice-wise?
It depends on the show.
Okay.
It really depends on the producer in the show. Most of the producers want you to be close to the character, not necessarily the voice.
Okay.
So we're never casting voice. We're always casting character.
I see.
On anything that's comedic, we have a lot more leeway. Because
Okay.
comedy is so cultural, it has to be that way or it won't work.
Yeah.
Right.
The heavy dramas, we usually have to really stick to what was originally written.
Right. Cool. Right on, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
It's fun. Pays the
Right?
bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pays the bills.
True or false, Tony?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You might have to lie on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. The truth is encouraged. You are on IMDb's top 20 anime voice actors of all time list.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Is it true?
Yes. I would like to think
You're
so.
presently number 11, but
Yeah. Did you know that? You're 11 out of 20.
Really? I moved up one.
You moved up. There you go, right? So that's pretty neat, man. It was funny because I actually read that and then I went to check it out. I'm like, there's no way.
I thought you liked to be surprised. Yeah.
It was a big surprise to me because
Yeah.
I didn't know. Somebody sent me an email, said, "Did you know that?" So I checked it out, and it was a big honor. I mean, the names on that list are
Yes,
amazing.
you are an
amazing.
awesome
So
company.
I
They
am a
have the
great
top
company.
20 men and the top 20 women, and it's always fluctuating. But you've
What was
you've been
lovely
in there.
about it
You're
is that there were
solid.
people from the old, some of the old school folks,
Yep.
some of the people that were already in the business long when I first got in it, so some of them are represented.
Right,
So it was
right.
I thought that was really nice of
It
them
was
to
nice,
really,
and you have people like Crispin Freeman,
Yeah.
Sam Riegel. People that
who are
are.
crossovers.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. That's something. Did they give you a trophy for that? or
No, I didn't. Like I said, somebody emailed
Damn.
me, and I went and looked it up, and it's true.
We should have you can have an apple when we're done. That's your trophy.
Okay,
all
I'll
right.
take
We'll each take a bite of it and say, "Here, congratulations."
Listen, anymore, if you're on a list on the internet, sometimes they're not good lists.
Yeah,
so
no, it's a
know,
good
right?
this is
list.
a very, very well-deserved and respected list.
Well, thanks. It was a big validation for
yeah.
a lot of years of
Yeah.
doing this. So.
Well, you not only act, you also direct, animate video games. As a director, put that hat on at the moment. Your hair's going to get messed up because you're changing hats a lot here. What are some things that you see talent do that are good, and some things that are not so good in a whether it's in an audition setting, a callback setting, or in an actual session setting?
That's a great question.
Take your time. There are a lot of people watching that do not get to be in the situation.
Well, it's
so give
kind
us
of counterintuitive. The thing that I have the toughest time with young actors especially, either in an audition or especially their first or second role, is that they get into their head. They get nervous. And what they do to compensate is really try hard. Because look, when I was a young actor, you really try, you really want to make it, you want to work with these people, and so you try hard, and that's probably the worst thing you can do, is to try too hard. I mean, really, to try, because you kind of have to just do, and the only way you can just do is to relax and just do it.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, is just relax and have fun, enjoy. The more fun the actor's having with the character, the more fun the audience is having. Coming in with another thing that I see, coming in with kind of a fixed way in which they're going to play a character. In anime especially, we really have to play what's already on the screen. So when I have an actor come in going, I'm going to play it this way, well, you really can't say that because we need to accommodate the other actor. Same thing in auditions. An actor will come in and he's worked on it, and and they really got it down. And if I'm auditioning a new actor especially, I'm going to throw a weird direction on them because I want to see if they'll take the direction, even though they don't agree with it.
Right.
And if they're too fixed, then I'm afraid to bring them in, because what if I need to make a change?
You need flexibility.
Yeah. What I like is when they come in early.
Nice.
Prepared and awake.
Awake is a good
already
one.
fed. I can't tell you how many people come into the booth and, well, let me get I know I'm between gigs, let me get a quick,
Oh, Lord.
I hate that. Plus it sounds bad on microphone.
Yeah.
But more to the point, the actors that come in looking for a collaborate to work together.
Yeah.
So it's not just them, it's not just me. I like to direct actors. I like them to bring something to the table and then let me help shape that.
Right.
Rather than playing it the way I'm going to play it.
Right.
So if you're flexible to that, then I think that's half the battle right there.
That's cool,
awesome.
man.
So.
Love it.
What are some of your favorite characters that you've voiced?
Oh, well, in the favorite character realm, I think I've got three basic ones, and that's Rick, because it was my first. And
Can you give us a little example of Rick?
Rick is me, but a lot younger. I'm not sure if I can still do the voice. I watched an episode of.
Is that Rick right there? Are we listening to Rick?
No, Rick is up here. Oh,
Okay.
Min May, please come. I'm such a wuss. Please come save me. That's
So
kind
he's
of Rick.
basically like
So
young,
this is
young
Rick
you.
Yeah,
Hunter
except I didn't
in
have to push my
Robotech.
voice up back then. It was
Exactly, just
actually
came
there.
out like that.
Pinch him a little. We'll get him up.
pinch
We'll
him.
get you up there. Whatever it takes.
The next was Harry from Gungrave. It's an anime called Gungrave. He's my first villain. And he's a young guy who grows up wanting to be a gangster, but not in the street sense, more in the mafia sense
What
of the
did
word.
he sound like? Do you remember?
Is me.
He's totally you.
Just me with a bit of a swagger.
Okay.
So, and the hard part was to make him likable, and yet he's a murderer.
Whoa.
So he had to
yes.
play, and that was really hard to do.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that every day, Tony.
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
And the third one is Lupin. Lupin the Third. It's the first comedy I did, and Lupin is really a cartoon voice. It's really the first cartoon voice I ever got to do, and it's pretty much Bugs Bunny and Jack Benny kind of mashed together.
Maybe it's because I like to say it, but like Bang Shishigami.
Bang was my favorite game character. Yeah.
What a fun game.
I had no idea I was doing that part.
Really?
Literally, I walked out of Studio One, and they had told me, we had a part for you in the game. When you're done with your directing your session, please go in the other, and we're going to voice it.
Yeah.
And they pulled me into the booth. They threw a script in front of me. I was running behind, so we got to move quickly. So I really didn't read the script at all. I was just reading as we went. And I got to the bottom of the page. We were doing a full page at a time, which is fairly rare, by the way. It's because there's a lot of technical stuff when you're doing a game. But I get to the bottom, and the line at the bottom was, "We're going to have a bang spanking good time." And so I'm going down the thing, and bang Shishigami, we're going to have a bang spanking good time. And then it dawned on me what I just said. And I look over, and the director and the producer have fallen off their chairs laughing. And then I realized, okay, maybe someone should explain to me what I'm doing here. It was a little weird. It was fun
Yeah.
though.
That's
A lot of
cool,
fun,
man. That's
Well, then there
really
was
cool.
Obscurio.
That's from Gormiti. That's the cartoon I was talking about. I did 2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gormiti. I finally saw it. It's on Hulu, guys.
Hulu. Hey, who knew?
Yay!
I started in season 2. I'm in season 2 and 3.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Gormiti was fun. It was a role I got quite by accident. Another one. I always trip into my best
Yeah,
stuff.
you
Accident
have-
or lying?
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's two things Tony Oliver has: the gift of lying, technically not though,
And being in the right
and then
place
being
at
at the
the
right place at the right time.
I guess. Yeah, I had been called in by the local producer at Studiopolis, Jamie Simone, to come in and just play a small part. It was the last episode of the first season. They didn't have a pickup yet for the rest, and it was just this brooding character in the back who basically talked like this. So I did it, and I get a call about 6 months later. You know that part? He just so happens to be the main villain in season 2. So
Hello.
Friday at noon session.
You're like,
And suddenly I'm in a booth with Sam Riegel and Wally Wingert and all these, Brian Beacock and I forgot her name. Anyway,
So
Kate
cool.
Higgins, she was right.
So cool.
So
and
great.
and I terrified. I was just because I
You were
Yeah.
terrified?
well because I've done little bit parts.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of anime and video games, but now I'm in a room with 8 actors who I really respect.
Yeah.
And creating out of whole cloth, and this is a show that's been already going for a season, and I'm now
Yeah.
entering the cast.
Yeah.
It was intimidating.
That's so
And I'm
cool.
sitting next to Wally Wingert, who can be intimidating.
Yep.
Now, he's a nice guy. It isn't that he's
totally
mean,
nice
but
guy.
he's
Yeah.
so good at what he does.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think just to backtrack a little, I've heard from you several things that you have gotten these amazing breaks on. Obviously, your talent got you there, but that you didn't have a huge investment. It was just like, I'm just doing it. I'm not overthinking it, and you went in and did your thing and moved on.
It took me
and-
nearly 20 years to learn how to do
Yeah.
that, to just calm down.
Right.
And just do what I'm trained to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a long, for those of you who are up to it, it's a long process
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
kind of get to it. The sooner you start,
The sooner you'll get
and
there.
getting on a stage a lot, I'm going to keep pounding this, getting on a stage a lot helps in that.
Yeah, because you conquer some fears.
Yeah,
right?
because you have to.
You
Yeah.
have to, exactly.
Well, that's funny you say that because you're getting on a stage.
Yes, I am.
Why
Nice
don't you-
segue. That was nice.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you getting
That
on a
song
stage here?
"Smooth Operator" was written about me. No. Yes, tell us about your show that you have. What is it? Love, Sex, and
Love,
the IRS?
Sex, and the IRS. We're opening January 9th and going through the 18th at the Bindle
Sweet.
Stiff Studio
That
in
would be
San Francisco.
2015.
15.
Coming up in about a month.
Yeah, so if you're watching this in 2018, already happened.
Yeah.
Well, if it's still running then, then we're, yeah.
Then I'm in trouble because I don't live in San Francisco.
Then Tony doesn't live here anymore.
That's
it's a week in a
exciting.
hotel for
so,
me.
Oh, gosh.
So tell us more about that. So first of all, how can people get tickets? Let's QVC it. I love the QVC.
Okay, it's thetribeproductions.org.
Okay.
And that'll take you to whatever links, because we
Okay.
have a link, and Gold Star's another place you can do it. It's Love, Sex, and the IRS, Bindle Stiff Studio, San Francisco, January 9th through the 18th,
Awesome.
2015. It's great. This is the 5th show I've done with this company. It's the Tribe Productions, and it was actually started by my daughter about 5 years ago.
love
Wow,
it.
so cool.
And I hadn't done theater in a long time, except for I do little benefits here and there for friends who have theater companies. And she asked me to be in their first show. So how do you say no to your daughter? So
You can't.
we did the Fantastics.
That's
We did it for
amazing.
Hollywood Fringe Festival, and
Wow.
it did really well. We won awards, and I've just been working with them ever since.
Fantastic.
So cool, man.
So she's producing this one, actually.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Well, here's a
Awesome,
round
awesome.
of applause
Yeah.
for your daughter.
Yay, talented
Yes,
family.
talented
we love
family.
it. We love it.
Talent, you passed it on, Tony. You
Yes,
passed it on.
and I apologize to them every day.
Well, it makes
Hopefully
for fun.
just the good habits, not so many
makes
of the
for
bad
fun
ones.
family dinners, right?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because my son's in the movie business, so even that conversation.
And your wife is a saint.
Yeah. She has been. Yeah, thank you, honey.
That's so great. So Tony's done something really, really cool. He's put a little list for you guys. I think it's a top 5 of something that you need in order to get
Something of
something.
something.
There you go. And we haven't heard it yet, but we're excited about hearing. Will you share with us your top 5 list or whatever it is that you have?
Yeah, it's the top 5 things that a young voice actor in the business needs to pay attention to.
There you go.
Okay. So the first thing is get trained. Take acting classes. get on theater. Look, you don't have to spend $300 a week and do Uta Hagen or the Actors Studio or anything like that. Just something that gets you in with other people working and training, once or twice a month at the very least. Go to community college. That's the best place. Take an acting class. It's going to be once or twice a week.
Beautiful.
You're maybe not going to get the best training in the planet, but you're going to get up on the stage. And the point is practicing with some guidance from people that supposedly know what they're doing.
I like the supposedly part.
Well, there's a difference between academic and professional,
Yes.
but nevertheless, it's really important. So get trained. Take that part of it seriously. I have too many actors who've come in. There are actors now that I'm working with that started as voice actors, never had any training, and now they're realizing it and backtracking and taking training from me and other people in order to get the acting chops up. So that's important. Number 2, get your voice in good shape. There's a lot you can do, but mostly it's learn how to breathe. All the projection, all of that stuff that you hear people do with their voices requires a lot of control of their air and projection. So if you really want to be able to make your voice really work and be effective, you have to be able to breathe. So you can take vocal production classes at the community college. Every theater department has it. If you sing, take singing lessons, join a choir, anything that gets you breathing. If you play horns, practice a lot because that you have to breathe. Martial arts, same thing. Ki, same breathing you have to do there. So that's the next important. Third is understand why you're doing this. If you want to be rich, this isn't the profession for you. I mean, there's a couple people that got rich doing this. One of them died a few years ago, but most people don't get rich. You can make a good living at it, but you're not going to get rich. So if you're going to do it for that, if you were doing it for fame, very few voice actors get famous. Very few actors get famous, and I'm a little famous. I do conventions and do the personal appearances stuff, and it's a lot of fun, but none of it's real. Fame and celebrity has to do with people's perceptions of a part you played, not you personally, and it gets in the way. So fame is, and you can't put fame in the bank.
Well, I was going to say,
fame and rich are not together necessarily.
Yeah, you can't even sell fame.
Can't even sell.
It doesn't.
Well, it has no monetary value.
Not really, unless you're selling autographs.
Yeah.
Which I don't do, by the way. Not yet, anyway. I may have to. So if you want to get rich, you want to get famous, all of those, there's faster, better ways to do it. So make sure that you're going into this because you love it. You're going to spend 90% of your time auditioning and not actually working, so you better love the process.
Yeah.
And if you don't, the percentage of success is going to be very low.
Exactly.
And it's going to drive you completely crazy. No matter what, have fun. No matter what you're doing, auditioning, performing, whatever, it's supposed to be fun. If it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it. If it's not fun, it's a horrible way to live.
Yeah.
And if it's not fun, the audience isn't having fun. So focus on fun, especially on auditions. I got to do a good job. I got to get this part. That's how you not get the part. The way you get the part is to be present and have fun and enjoy yourself and look at it as a moment. You get 15 minutes to play for free. People pay a lot of money to come to my classes.
Yeah.
To work in a studio. At audition, I get to do it for free for 15 minutes.
There you go.
So that's cool.
That's fantastic.
And finally, how do I put this? You got to get a good sense of self. Everybody on the planet is going to tell you that you can't do this, that you're never going to do this. I think if you've trained, you got your voice together, you're having fun, you're taking this whole process seriously, you'll be able to find that strength of character to go, yeah, thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to go do what I want to do. Literally, I was working at Saban. I'd already been there for years. I was a producer already. I had done a bunch of shows on the air, and I was in the middle of developing an early reality show with one of the guys from Cops. And I was getting ready to go pitch it at Saban, and my uncle basically said, well, you can't do that. You'll never get that done. Hundreds of thousands of people are trying to get stuff. That's never going to end up. It's like, I'm already in the business. And my attitude was, watch me. The show never got on the air, but out of that pitch, I ended up getting Rangers, and that's how. And a year later, I had Power Rangers on the air.
There you go.
So you just, you just have to find that strength to stick with it.
Yeah.
And those are the best things you can do. Everything else, everybody else has the same top 5 list.
Yeah.
But I think if you do some of that internal work, it's going to be a lot.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I always tell people. I mean, I'm a big believer that I'm a dream builder. I don't like killing people's dreams, right? Because everybody has dreams. And whenever there's people around that say, oh, you can't do that, or, you know, it's really, really difficult, or, you know, well, isn't that really, really competitive? There isn't anything in this world worth doing that isn't.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you need to go from like what you just said, the love of it. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't be, because whatever it is that you want to be, you already are. You just need to do.
Yeah.
I quoted, that's Jay Britton quote.
Yeah.
Look, I always told my kids, find what it is you love and do that. The money will come somehow.
Yeah.
You know, you may have to work another job to do it if that's what you love to do.
Yeah.
But find what you love and do that. And eventually it gets there. Overnight success in this business is 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That's overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's considered really fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it took me
Unless you're
roughly
Zach.
from my very
Unless you're Zach,
no,
you
he
are.
was still in school.
Okay.
But no, it took me, I think I worked first professionally when I was 17 or 18 years old. And I was about 30 when I could finally support myself. So it was about a 12 or 13 year journey just to get to the point where I could
Well, I
just
think
do
if
this.
if you're easily knocked off your dream path, then I think you have to look at that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you really are tenacious and you say, this is what I'm going to do no matter what anyone says around you, that's something. But if you're kind of like, oh, maybe you're right, then I think you have to maybe look and say, is this a hobby versus a profession?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And it's nothing wrong with a hobby.
No.
And I know a lot of
Exactly.
people, and I have people that work in my shows that are part-time actors. They do it as a hobby
Exactly.
more. It's extra money for them, and they enjoy it, and that's
if
it.
it brings them joy, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because there's too many ups and downs and ups, and that if it's not enough, if you don't love auditioning, if you don't ride through the stuff that's dark, then
Yeah, it's a tough business, and it's not fair. You don't expect this business to be fair. I mean,
Yeah.
there are. I've been more than one time where I was at an audition. I could see what was going on. I was clearly the better actor, but somebody else got it because of a relationship, because of whatever.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I've
Right.
gotten parts because I was someone's friend
Yeah.
before.
Exactly.
yeah.
So it all comes up, but the business is not fair. It's not. I've had this question before. You know, once I take this class and get my degree and do this, then I can go to work in that, right? And,
Yeah,
well,
it's not linear.
You can, but
Yeah.
it's not like an accountant job where you get out of
Yeah.
school, get yourself a job, and work for a company. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
I
you
wish
know?
it worked that way.
Nothing
It'd
in
be
the
easier.
entertainment business is a solid. You know.
Yeah.
You're just going for it, right?
Yeah.
Crossing your fingers.
Yeah, and remember, it's just a job.
Yeah,
it
but-
is just a job. It's a fun job. It's a cool job. And sometimes it pays really well. But it's still a job. There are days I don't want to go to work. I didn't want to go to work
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
I
did.
wanted to. I wanted to work on the project I was
Yeah.
working on today.
You
but
just didn't want to get up.
I just
'cause
want
it
to
was
get out of
cold and
bed.
rainy.
It's because it's
Exactly.
raining.
That's what it was.
Because you knew what was happening. People don't drive well in the rain in LA.
Well, with all that said, we know one thing, and that is that luck favors the prepared.
Yes.
So, bottom line is, you got to be great at what you do, and you have to be prepared that when that opportunity comes a knocking,
ready.
that you are ready to kick some major butt.
You don't flinch.
That's a great line. Liza Minnelli, of all people, was asked about the same thing. She said, what does a young actor absolutely need to do more than anything? And she said, practice, practice, practice. Because there's a lot of luck involved. And most of the time, that luck's going to come once. And you best be ready to jump
Yeah.
on that. And so, yeah, that's why I
Absolutely.
get trained, be prepared, practice. Andrea Romano, also, I just read an article that she wrote, talking about if you're not a working voice actor, you should be at home voice acting 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because you're competing against people that do it 6, 7 hours a day in the studio every day.
Right. Right.
So you got to have your chops up.
Yeah.
So practice, guys.
Exactly.
Well, that's all the time we have for part one, but we'll be back next week with part two.
Absolutely. Keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love you guys. Thanks for watching, and just remember, you always have time for a little buzz.